Hey everybody, it's Lord Magicus, and this week we're gonna play some Merfolk in Legacy. So, for August, the Mana Traders are doing a Legacy series for this month, so it's gonna be some interest in this format. And since we played the combo version of this deck like 2 weeks ago, I think, we may as well try and see what does like a actual like Merfolk deck look like now. So this is what I am looking at to try out. I have no idea if this is going to still work in Legacy or not, but this is what I want to try. So let's look at like the main thing that's noticeable about this. Right now, we don't have any Chalice of the Void in this deck, and the main reason for this is that I don't think Chalice of the Void is even a good card in Legacy at this point. It used to be very good, but the problem is now there's like stuff like Veil of Summer and even Oko that just severely undermine the power of Chalice of the Void. You can't rely on sticking Chalice on 1 and having it lock out the opponent, or even Chalice on 0 and having it lock them out the way that you would have expected it to in the past. A deck like Delver, if you play Chalice on 1, they're just going to Oko and turn it into an Elk and then unload their hand of cantrips anyway. Or if you play it on 0 versus Storm, they're just going to play Veil of Summer and then just combo out as though the Chalice isn't even there, because Veil will make all of their spells uncounterable, so the Chalice does nothing. So I don't believe in the power of Chalice of the Void as long as these two cards are infested into this metagame. So if we can't rely on Chalice to get the job done, then we have to kind of look for other ways to go. And I think maybe we can try a more aggressive approach to this. So I'm going to play. We have to keep Force of Will. Like this shares a lot of the same problems with against like Veil of Summer, for instance. But we have to keep this card. There's like if we go up against like Reanimator or something, like you have to have this kind of card in it so you don't lose. So there's just too many cards that you have to be able to force in order to like have Legacy as a format to exist. So Force is a lot weaker than it used to be, but it's still a necessity. But I don't think that Chalice is really where we want to be for the most part now, so instead, I'm going to play 2 copies of Mystical Dispute in the main deck, and my reason for this is that at 3 mana, it is a cancel, which we're not going to play it like that all the time, but really, Mystical Dispute is a good answer against like the Rug Delver decks, and especially against cards like Oko. You really do not want Oko to resolve, and you really don't want to have to force an Oko only to get blown out by like Daze or something. So I think we want answers like Mystical Dispute, where it's a 1 mana answer to Oko. And yeah, even against something like Uro, or there's tons of other blue cards. It counters like Delver of Secret itself, which is fine. It's got playability versus stuff like Show and Tell too. Like 2 for 1ing yourself on all of your counter spells is just a way to like lose to card advantage engines like Dreadhorde Arcanist and Oko and nonsense. Yeah, that kind of nonsense. So we could play like Force of Negation in this slot, but I really don't think that we want to. I think we want a different spell. Maybe it could be something like Counterspell. I don't think we want something like Daze because we really want to curve up to 3 mana, but I think we need something, and so I want to try out some Mystical Disputes here. We'll see if these are going to be okay. So, besides that, we have 2 Okos here. I'm going to keep True Name Nemesis. I mean, this is another card that gets, like, undermined severely because of, like, Plague Engineer, but one of the reasons we're going to try this is because we have 12 Lords in our deck, so hopefully we can mitigate that weakness a little bit. There's going to be, stuff like Swords to Plowshares can 1 for 1 us easier now that we don't have Chalice on 1, but at the same time we also have more creatures than they are going to have removal, so hopefully that'll be the fun. I mean, that's how it is in Modern, like when we play. We just want to play more creatures than they can answer, so yeah, they might have like 1 removal spell or 2 removal spells, but in general, should be good enough to beat them for the most part. 2 Brazen Borrowers here to complement the Okos, and the reason for this is that I don't want to lose to like Pithing Needle or Phyrexian Revoker or Sorcerous Spyglass, those kind of effects, because Oko will answer stuff like Plague Engineer or Ensnaring Bridge, but if you needle him first, then he does nothing, and you know we don't have any other answers to needle, so I want to have the Borrower in order to deal with Oko. There's also one other reason for this. I want this in case we go up against Merit Lodge, because it's the only instant speed effect that we have that gets rid of it. Trickster can tap it down, so if you can tap Lodge down and then get to our turn to Oko it, and to turn it into an Elk, that's fine. But we need some way to interact with it at instant speed. Now, this might be an issue because like the problem that we've always had is like Sajeri Step, like which stuff like Crop Rotation can get it at instant speed, but this is it's gonna be a little bit rough, but you know we have to deal with that. At least having some number of Borrowers gives us some counterplay to that. I'm gonna put 2 Curse Catchers in, so this will kind of support the Mystical Disputes a little bit at the covering the counter effects that Chalice used to do. So we have 4 alternate spells that like counter things as opposed to for taking out the Chalice. And having more 1-drops with 12 Lords is going to give us more power. So besides that, yeah, if we look here, we're not going to play Mutavaults. If you notice, there's not a lot of colorless mana symbols here. It's mostly like double blue or blue-green and that kind of nonsense, so yeah, I think we can live without Mutavault. We'll just play Waterlogged Grove instead. So, let's look at the sideboard. Harbinger of the Tides. It has been a long time since we've seen this card, but I wanted something to bring in against Delver, so Harbinger seems like a good fit. It bounces Tarmogoyf, bounces Delver, bounces even Dreadhorde Arcanist, which is really slow against Harbinger, but they might get to get value out of it. Bounces Hooting Mandrills. That card is also a beating because it has Trample, and it's hard for them to recast it once they delve away their graveyard. 2 Force of Negation just for like combo decks. Dismember 3, yeah, like we want these against like the creature-based decks, anything with like Knight of the Reliquary in it, or probably Thalia. Collector Oath is going to be our anti-storm card. Chalice used to be that card, but I think Oath is going to be much better against that. It's going to be a little bit weaker against stuff like Bomberman, where they have Swords of Plowshares in their deck to get rid of this, but they also usually have ways to get rid of Chalice too, so I mean, you could also consider stuff like Null Rod, but Null Rod is also way weaker against Storm because they have things like Crash that they can use Burning Wish to find and then get rid of the Null Rod, so diversifying our effects a little bit against them is fine, I think. Having Collector Oath is going to be better against any of the Storm decks. Karakas is fine. We just bring this in against like Show and Tell and Reanimator and Merit Lodge decks. And, you know, our split of Grafdigger's Cage and Relics. The 2 Relics I think are going to come in against Miracle, like, well, I guess the Bant deck with Uro in it. I don't even like calling it Miracles anymore because it really doesn't feel like a Miracles deck at this point. It's basically just an Uro and Oko deck that just kind of plays sometimes they play stuff like Terminus alongside it, and it's just like not like it's not nearly what it used to be at this point. It's almost more of a mid-range deck than it is like, you know, the hard Miracles control deck. So though I think they might play like an Intrader too. So I mean, the problem is like stuff like what is it? Mystic Sanctuary, that's right. We need to bring this in against decks that are going to be playing Mystic Sanctuary in them so that we can undermine that card with the Relic. This also undermines Uro, which is nice. And if you bring it against Rug Delver, it hurts Tarmogoyf, hurts Dreadhorde Arcanist, and it hurts Hooting Mandrills. And if they have Snapcaster, I don't know if they normally have Snaps or not, but if they do, that will undermine that too. It hurts enough of their cards where it's worth bringing in like 2 copies of this. The Grafdigger's Cage is basically just if we go up against like Dredge or Hogak or something, because this is a little bit stronger hate against those decks than Relic is. So, alright, well, I guess we're going to see how this goes. I want to keep 4 basic islands just so that we're not totally like stone dead if we go up against like a Blood Moon or Wasteland or something. We have, you know, 4 fetches to find basic island and, you know, 4 islands. So it's kind of like having 8 basics. It's just not like a lot. It's definitely less than like a mono blue list would play, but hopefully will still be enough to like play through stuff like Wasteland. So we just need to have these so we can get Tropical Island to deploy Cometa Speaker in those kind of games. So Yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. I hope that it's gonna be fine because, to be honest, like Legacy as a format it does not feel right to me anymore. Like what 2019 and 2020 have done to Legacy is just heartbreaking, and as long as cards like Oko and Veil of Summer and Astrolabe continue to be legal in this format and undermining the most important cards that keep Legacy together, like it's just not gonna feel the same, and it's definitely not my favorite format at this point. So, well, we're gonna still try and see if Merfolk has something to offer, and I don't want to play the combo deck version of this. Like, if you want to play like the Paradigm Shift, you should probably try the list that's just all wizards instead of Merfolk. Like, I don't want to play a Merfolk deck if it's not going to have like Lord of Atlantis and Master of the Pearl Trident. It feels wrong to me. So yeah, let's try this and see if we can at least get a decent result with this. So I will see you for the first round. Hey everybody, it's Lord Magicus, and we're ready to start our first round. So our opening hand looks fine. We'll keep this. Might be a little weak if we're up against something like Wasteland, but got Aether Vial. Oh fuck. City of Traders. Well, at least we have Aether Vial. That's gonna help. Another vial is helpful. At least we can still cast stuff. We can get this vial out, and yeah, this is not going to be good. Alright, well, we only have one Aether Vial here, so of course we drew another one. Why would we not? If they blow up this vial, we're just doomed. And we do have to tick it up. Let's get our clock going. Why is it that every time that we keep like, or we play like a hand that has like non-basics in it, it's like, oh, turn 1 Blood Moon. Like, this is what we're all about here. This is gonna be okay. That's fine. That doesn't really do anything. We just all right. At least we can kill them pretty quickly. Getting this vial out before this chalice is like the only reason that we're still in this game. That's nice. We might just win this just based on pure dumb luck. The opponent does not have anything else going on right now, and it looks like they're dead. Okay, well, we won despite, like, everything being against us, so... Okay, well... This is not a deck where we want Merfolk Mistfinder. We do want Oko, probably. No, we need the Dismembers. We need the Force of Negation. The thing is, like, Oko is an answer to Ensnaring Bridge. So it's going to be difficult to cast him, but I think we need it. Mystical Dispute is not going to be good. I think we might want Harbinger of the Tides. Might be better. I'm going to... See, like, I kind of want to keep the Kumena Speaker, but I'm wondering, you know what, probably another Harbinger would be better. Because we might not be able to cast these. We really want basic islands here. Like, the cancel mode on Dispute is fine, but yeah, we're not guaranteed that we're going to get to that point in the game, so just trying to think. Are we okay with this? Dismember. True name is okay. They do have stuff like Rabble Master, so we need to be able to dismember that quickly. For the same reason, like Harbinger can just slow them down a little bit. And like I said, I want to keep as many 2-mana things because I want to stick Vial on 2 and keep it there for the most part. Borrower can bounce their bridges and nonsense, so I think we keep it like this. Okay, well, yeah, wow. They tried very hard and just failed to come up with anything, so it looked like they were struggling to draw like one more land. They might have had like Chandra or Karn or something in their hand, so I think we can keep this. If they go Blood Moon, we still have like basic island here. We can still play. If they like turn 1 Chalice us, that would suck. I don't know if they're inclined to keep a hand with Chalice against this though. These true names will be pretty strong if we can stick them. Looks like their hand might be kind of sketchy. I'm willing to keep this because I think Vial is very strong against them. I want to play Vial as quickly as possible, so that way we have a way to put things into play that get around Chalice of the Void. And they have to have like 2 lock pieces basically to keep us out, because we can beat like any 1 lock piece. We have Oko on 3 mana to beat something like Chalice. We have Borrower to beat like Bridge, you know, or if we play like Oko and they needle it, we can bounce it and then counter it with Force or something. So am I going to 5? Like yeah, so okay. See what they kept. Turn 1, what do you got? Okay. Lotus Petal. Nothing. I'm probably ticking this all the way up. Okay, they're cycling Ash Barrens. That's interesting. So they got another mountain. Crater Maker is not good because now they can blow up our Ether Vial. Okay, well, they only have 2 cards left, so we might be okay. If we can just stick this true name, we'll be in some good shape, so. Blood Sun. Okay, so they're probably playing the Dark Depths combo in their deck, I'm guessing. Get over here, where I can actually, like, reach this. Yes, take this up to 2. That was a very good draw. Would you like to block? Okay, well, they have a very hard time. They have to, like, probably bridge us, like, right now. I don't know if that would help them, though. I don't think I'm going to tick this up here. We'd probably just do that and kill off Ether Vial. No? Okay. So I guess I'm going to play Oko here. Because now they have to, yeah, like, a bridge is not going to do it. If they play Ensnaring Bridge, then I'm just going to elk the bridge, and so I think, yeah, we win. Alright, cool. So we had a pretty easy game against them. So we kind of got lucky with the first game, because they had, like, the right cards to defeat our hand. But we were lucky that we got the Ether Vial out before the Chalice on 1, so we could still play things despite the fact that our lands basically were donuts. So Yeah, in game two, like they mulled to 5 and like just did not have like anything to help us here. So the cool thing, though, we should mention, if you've not seen this before, so the whole point of playing Blood Sun, they want to play this card, I believe, so they can play Dark Depths, so it doesn't come in with any counters. So that way, when they think they have some way of getting rid of the Blood Sun later on. That way, then when they get rid of this, then Dark Depths dies immediately, and they get like Merit Lodge. So, yeah, this is like a combo-y card in their deck. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, but it doesn't really do anything versus us. Like it's basically just like a dead draw. So they were desperately trying to cycle into like an actual threat. Like I don't know what would have helped them. They probably needed like another land so they could get to 4 mana and maybe get Karn out or something. I don't know, but wasn't enough. So we start off the league pretty well. Does the green probably was a liability in this match, but yeah, I mean it's I think mono blue has a slightly better matchup here just because you can actually cast spells with basic islands more often. But we did all right, so I will see you next time. So take it easy.